New tonight, search efforts continue after a Perdue tractor trailer crashes over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge-Tunnel this morning. A representative from the CBBT says the crash happened near Fisherman's Island. Jordy Clark explains what we know so far.
Authorities are continuing to piece together what led to Sunday morning's deadly tractor trailer crash along the Chesapeake Bay Bridge-Tunnel. Officials say the crash happened around 6:30 a.m. near the North Channel Bridge just south of Fisherman's Island. The truck went over the west side of the southbound span. Search crews, including the U.S. Coast Guard and Virginia Beach Marine Police, have been working in the water throughout Sunday as the investigation continues. Officials say the crash also caused a guardrail and curb damage along the bridge tunnel. Maintenance crews are making emergency repairs. Meanwhile, Perdue Farms confirms the truck involved belonged to the company and says one of its drivers died in the crash. In part, quote, the company says it's heartbroken and is keeping the driver's family, friends, and co-workers in its thoughts while cooperating with investigators. Authorities say the cause of the crash remains under investigation. For 13 News Now, I'm Jordy Clark.
And we've learned the truck went crashing over the southbound span of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge-Tunnel. Patrick Gray is live at Fisherman's Island with reaction to the crash. And Patrick, what does that scene look like now?
Yeah, Madison, we're here on the beach at Fisherman's Island, just underneath the southbound side of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge-Tunnel. The tractor trailer crashing into the water this morning, just happening a few hundred feet away from us out there. And crews just left the scene this morning. A Perdue truck crashing through the Western Guard, heading southbound. We watched as divers came out of the water just moments ago. Authorities still haven't said exactly what they were searching for, only that the investigation is ongoing. Again, Perdue Farms has confirmed the driver of the truck was pronounced dead. We spoke with truck driver Isaiah Little, who just crossed the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. He says to prepare for the drive across the bridge, he checks wind speeds carefully and makes sure he is at full attention.
Again, making sure you're not distracted, you ain't got a phone up or you're watching TV or something like that on your phone. Checking the weather before you go, make sure it's not real bad crosswinds, because people don't take into account when you got a trailer that's 13 feet 6 inches, the wind catches the side of that, it can push you.
Yeah, that truck was still carrying freight when it hit the water. And I want to show you something. These blue baskets here, there must be dozens of them going down the shoreline and still floating in the water. And inside of them, chicken that spilled out of the truck when it hit the water. Again, this is still an ongoing investigation. We'll continue to follow this story closely and bring updates as they become available. On Fisherman's Island, Patrick Gray, 13 News Now.
All right. Interesting to see there, Patrick. Thank you so much. And again, authorities are still determining what may have caused that crash, but we're also checking in with what the weather conditions were on the CBBT before that crash. We've got meteorologist Hunter Forst here with us. And Hunter, again, this happened at around 6:30 this morning. So what were conditions looking like on the bridge around then?
Hey, Madison. Yeah, weather conditions were fairly calm this morning along the CBBT. Here we are taking a look at our satellite and radar at around 6:30 this morning. The rain has yet to move in, and it was just a cloudy start to the day. Roads were fairly dry, and the winds were light as well. Here's a look at the wind speeds through the morning. Starting around 6 o'clock, winds were only sustained at around 9 miles per hour, and they were sustained between 9 and 12 miles per hour through the morning, and the highest wind gust was only at around 14 miles per hour, more out of the south and west. So weren't really seeing much of the crosswinds like the guy was talking about in that previous package there with Patrick. But I also want to talk about the Chesapeake Bay water temperatures as well. Of course, it's the middle of February, so the water temperatures are very cold in the Atlantic Ocean and in the Chesapeake Bay. Right now, sitting in the mid to upper 30s. So certainly some chilly waters out there. Madison, back to you.
Okay, Hunter. The Chesapeake Bay Bridge-Tunnel keeps records of the truckers who have fallen off the CBBT. In 2023, 13 News Now FOIA'd the agency and found at least 14 truckers have fallen off the bridge since the 1980s. And with today's most recent accident, it brings our records to a total of 15 truck drivers. The data from the FOIA request shows most of those crashes were unrelated in cause. Reports show one driver fell asleep behind the wheel, another had a heart attack. One may have been been struck by lightning, and a blown out tire has also been a cause. Now, one thing the CBBT crash reports don't mention is if winds were a part of those crashes. Although a court case ruling from 2021 shows a family sued the CBBT after a family member who was a truck driver drove off the bridge in 2017. The court ruled wind was a proximate cause of that crash, but the judge said that the CBBT had sovereign immunity and was immune for liability. In the past, only 2 drivers have survived the plunge into the Chesapeake Bay Bridge-Tunnel. In 2023, Dan Kennedy sat down with one of those survivors. His name is Matt Kilman. Kilman tells 13 News Now he's thankful to be alive.
Everything went in slow motion. You could feel a slow shift, everything going sideways. And at that time, I thought about taking my seatbelt off. I don't know how long it had been, but I come back to 15 feet under the water and already out of my truck. Like, I don't know how I got out or any of that, but it was a miracle.
Chilling words there. We've also sent another FOIA request to the Chesapeake Bay Bridge-Tunnel to see what other crash data they have since 2023's incident. We're still waiting to hear back.